Hello, my name is Ashton Potter, and I'm really excited to take your course. And I just kind of wanted to give you a shout out because I really do enjoy how you take time out of your day to make the videos because it allows us to kind of get to know who you are and put a face to your name, which is something that I really appreciate. So a little bit about me, I will be a senior in the fall. I am from Austin, Texas, and that is where I'm taking your class this summer. I sadly had to take it online because I am doing an internship, so I work 40 hours a week and just wanted to get an elective credit done this summer. So to kind of jump right in to the reading, as you will see in my paper, I am really excited to take this class because a lot of breast cancer, ovarian cancer runs through my family, and you'll learn a little bit about it some more in the paper. So to kind of start, I did write some notes on my computer and I want to just make sure I hit every chapter. So to start the book, one thing in chapter 1 that really kind of impressed me and I was like, whoa, about was the graphics. They were really detailed. They were all throughout all of the chapters, and so for others that could have been super overwhelming, especially if a male is taking this class and has never seen any sort of part of a female drawn out like that. But for others, I think it could actually be really important because if they weren't raised learning about their bodies or sexual education, or even in high school, middle school, any age, taking part in sex ed, getting to kind of learn the parts of their body and how they work is something super important that everyone should have the ability to do. I also thought it was interesting when they talked about the breasts and how society is fixated on them was kind of like yep, that's how it is in college. A lot of people in college, if you have small breasts, it's like you get made fun of. If you have big breasts, it's like, oh, that's all a guy's into you for. And my mother blessed me and my sisters for the bigger side. So we thank her for that one. And it's, pros and cons of it all. In chapter 2, something that I took away from it that I really liked was definitely all about the self-care and hygiene, which is something that's really important to me because a lot of people may not know what to do and what not to do when it comes to specifically the female body, as I'm a female, so that's kind of what I focus on and take away from. And I found it helpful that girls can actually start to understand their body and can learn how to properly care for it, what to do, what not to do. And this book actually goes through a lot of great questions that I know, like growing up, I had questions about that I had to sit down and ask my mom. And so I give props to the writers of this book because answering these questions for people in college can really help them because they may be embarrassed to ask, they may not know who to ask, or they just may not necessarily want to know the answers. Also, I liked how the book talked about visiting the OBGYN because that was another topic, and it was suggested that once you become sexually active, you can go, or most of the time, gynecologists say when you turn 21, that's when you should go, just because it is good to make sure your body is healthy and operating in the ways that it should. I know that Goddard on campus does visits in the Women's Center, and so I just think that this book and obviously campus has a lot of resources that young women like myself and others can take advantage of if it's not something that they discuss with their family, friends, or any sort of adult that they feel comfortable talking to. A little fun fact that the book had that I found interesting was it talked about how like tight pants or like tight underwear is actually not like the best thing a woman can wear, but more so either not wearing underwear or just wearing looser clothing because that'll actually help the tissues to stay healthy. So to me, I was like, because I live in leggings, that is all I wear. So I found that interesting. And then in chapter 3, I really liked this chapter. This was the chapter about body image and all things that have to go with that. And I haven't ever been a skinny girl. I'm 5'5", 165 pounds. I've been a soccer player, I've done CrossFit, I now do Orange Theory, so yes, I am muscle, but I also do have extra weight and skin on me, but as do some people. And so I think this chapter in this book was phenomenal at laying out not everyone's built the same. You're not always going to look the same as someone, feel the same as someone, And to me, it also has to do with self-confidence and how you carry yourself. Because I know for me during high school, for the longest time, I was like, I'm not the skinniest girl. I can't put on a bikini and feel confident. And it's just something that I've taken away in life is if you're not comfortable in your own skin, either change it or learn to be comfortable. So just to kind of give you a high level, I'm doing the 30 Days to Healthy Living Arbonne Challenge right now because I studied abroad through OU earlier in the summer, and eating pasta, bread, drinking wine, desserts, all sorts of things for 2.5 weeks was not good for my body, and I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin, so I picked the route of doing something about it. And obviously dieting isn't for everyone. Some people don't care about what they weigh, and to me, as I've grown up, weight has just become a number because everyone's going to step on the scale and you could weigh the same as someone and look completely different. So it's just a matter of feeling comfortable in your own skin, and then from there, just carrying confidence with you. I also liked how this book included images and even touched on how people viewed themselves. I think hearing other people's perspectives about how they feel and what they want to accomplish from like what their body looks like is something that's really cool, because you can talk to your friends and they'll tell you, oh no, like you're pretty, stop it, or you're not fat, or whatever word they want to use. But to hear someone who you have no idea who they are or what their background is to share that they felt uncomfortable in their own skin, or they learned to adapt that being curvy is not a bad thing. It's just you have to ignore how people perceive you. And the fact that this class is offered in college, when that could be the most difficult 4 years or however many years of someone's life because of all the society in like the party world and what to wear, what to look like. To me, this chapter just really summed up that it's however you want to perceive yourself, and that is what matters. And that takes time. You're not gonna learn to love yourself overnight and wake up and you embracing that you're not the skinniest or that you are really skinny. So this chapter laid that out really well. Moving on to chapter 4, I was very impressed with the comment of the sex versus gender, that sex is between your legs and gender is between your ears. Because to me, growing up, I have both my parents, they've been married for 35 years, 2 sisters, and none of us identifies anything other than what we were born. So being able to read all about people who are attracted to the other sex, read all about people who were born with one genital and want another one because that's how they identify, was something that was really intriguing for me, because also there was a part in here about how someone who is attracted to the same sex can learn to come out to themselves, because self-love is important, and if you can accept yourself, then you won't care what other people think. And then there was also a part about coming out to other people. And so I really thought just kind of learning about the different perspectives was something that was really cool. Chapter 5 and 6 all kind of combined. I really loved how 5 had a lot of personal stories. This allowed the book to kind of capture other audiences of any age, background, to feel connected and maybe even personally relate to these life examples. I also thought it was kind of funny how they included a snapshot of what single women want, and the 3 categories were marriage, happiness, and like complete independence. So that was interesting. Chapter 6 kind of surprised me when it talked about how the word virginity doesn't really mean anything. It's not a medical term, it's a social term. And even in today's society, like in college, if you say you're a virgin, people are like, oh my gosh, like you're a prude, or like why? It's like they question why you're a virgin. But if you also say you're not a virgin, depending on the number of partners you have, you could be viewed as words such as like slut or whore and like things like that, that no female should ever be called because she's confident in herself and chooses to be sexually active, or still confident in herself and chooses not to be sexually active for whatever his or her beliefs or purposes behind that are. And to wrap this up, chapter 7 went through the stages of the pleasures and defined what they all meant. And to me, I think it was very informative to have a legit book defined term instead of like what you hear in college or what people say in sex ed. And it also talked about consent. And to me, I think people need to read the consent page, read it again, and then maybe read it one more time, because in college that could be a problem. And I just think overall, so far in the first 7 chapters, this book has completely surprised me. When I got it in the mail, it was a large book, and I was like, wow, I'm about to read 7 chapters in a week, but I definitely was enlightened by it, and I am excited to take your course and just go full throttle and see what else I can learn and apply to everyday life, educate other women and even males. So I just want to thank you for laying out this course and offering it and just being a great professor so far, and I look forward to next week's video. Bye.